What's goody? It's your boy. I'm back with another banging video, and today I got a banging Larry video for you guys. So what's goody, Bird Gang? If you're new to the content, make sure you like it and subscribe. And now I do have a shout out for my boy David A. Govan. I hope I said that right. Hey man, this was a request reaction. He sent this request to my Instagram, and I personally appreciate that, bro. Just wanted to make sure I said your name right. I personally appreciate that, bro, because I usually be telling people if you just hit me up on IG, but not too many people do it. And you left me a heartfelt message. I do appreciate that, and especially that you watch out for all the content and you love the bird videos. Got a lot of that coming. I usually don't do later videos, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of later in the day. I don't like to drop too late, but I told you I was going to drop this one for you today. And I very much appreciated the message. That's the type of stuff that pushes me, man. So we got four crazy stories that prove Larry Bird is the toughest player in NBA history. I already think this was going to be impressive. I'm not even lying. Like, because I already, in my opinion, he's the toughest. Like, there were a lot of guys that went through injuries, and there's probably a lot of stories I haven't heard of. But I mean, like, his stories, he went through some insane feats. That cheek fracture, on top of a concussion, that was different. But I'm not gonna hold you on any longer. If you're new to the content, please like the video up. By liking the content, the way the YouTube algorithm works, more people gonna see the video. You're just gonna be helping me out. But we're just gonna go ahead and jump into it. Let's get it.
We've all heard the stories about Kobe Bryant, and most of us have actually seen with our own eyes how incredibly tough the guy was. Trying to play on a freshly sprained ankle to wheel the Lakers to the playoffs, winning the championship with a fractured finger, he's got a great case for being the toughest player in NBA history. But then there's Larry Bird, and many people don't know it, but he might have been equally as tough, if not tougher than Kobe Bryant when it came to pain tolerance. Bird was such a warrior that he often didn't even like to let the team staff know he was hurt. That is until later in his career when his back had deteriorated to an unbearable point. And because Bird was such a warrior, today I want to tell you guys 4 crazy stories about Larry Bird's insane level of toughness. What's up, NBA fans? Dom2K on the mic, and you've probably seen the shots of Larry Bird torturing himself later in his career when his back was forcing him into retirement, but you might not know what allowed him to deal with that pain in the first place. It turns out Larry was dealing with physical ailments even before he entered the league. Before he'd ever played a game with the Celtics, he actually had his knuckle shattered by a baseball that put his professional career in jeopardy. But because he's Larry Bird and Larry Bird is from a different planet, he was able to put together a top 10 NBA career despite not ever having the same shooting touch before he shattered his knuckle. Wrap your mind around that for a second. Larry Bird accomplished everything he did in his career, and he said out of his own mouth that he never had the same feel for the basketball after the knuckle injury. But as it turns out, that's just an appetizer compared to what he'd endured throughout his career. Let's jump into it. Number 4, hole in the face. I figured we'd start off with something crazy we've seen before. Remember when Russell Westbrook fell down after his free throw and got a hole kicked in his jaw? Yeah, that left a lot of us wondering if Westbrook was actually Android a human, because he got up, moved his mouth around a little bit, and finished up what was left of the game. Luckily for him, that was only about 1 second of game time. However, it turns out that 33 years earlier, Larry Bird actually had already accomplished this superhuman feat, and surprisingly, he did Westbrook one better. I originally thought there wasn't footage of this on YouTube, but I'm so thankful there was, because you need to witness how brutal this was. In a 1982 game against the Milwaukee Bucks, Larry Bird drove left to the basket and tried to make in a routine jump shot. It clanked off the rim, Bird went up to rebound his own miss, and was violently elbowed by power forward Harvey Catchings. Where Westbrook's injury was an accident by his own teammate that didn't even look too bad initially, it's a bit difficult to look at this footage and say it wasn't on purpose, and you actually cringe a bit when you see how hard the shot was. The elbow practically knocked Bird out and left him lying on the floor for several minutes as he looked seriously injured. From what I can tell in the tape, the injury appeared to happen before the end of the third quarter, because Larry Bird went back to the locker room and came back out before the period had ended. In the fourth quarter, playing with what we now know was a fractured zygotic arch, Bird would score 8 more points, including a poster dunk, 2 assists, adding some defense and hustle plays, as he was even shoved out of bounds during one of the possessions. His efforts led the Celtics to a narrow win as he finished.
Hey, give me 2 seconds, y'all. Is this is 2 different plays from the one where he hit his face on the floor? So this was the first time or the second time. I don't know if this was before or after, but. So he fractured his cheek twice? Well, at that time, he didn't really do it. The floor did it the second time. That time, he got elbowed, which should have been like a flagrant for sure, but this old school game is real tough. It's not a flagrant. What? So, okay, aside from that, that, okay, 2 fractured cheeks, came back in both games. One game he had a concussion, the game where he hit the floor. You know what I'm saying? Can't forget about that. What about the knuckle thing? Shattered his knuckle? Shooting form was never the same, and he still did all that. So that, just me being an overthinker. You know what I'm saying? So basically, he possibly was better, even better than what we got before he shattered the whole hand or the knuckles, whatever, however that went. Because he probably had to switch his whole shooting form and learn how to shoot with his hand the way it was. You know what I'm saying? It affects a lot. Any injury to the hand, any pain for me whenever I'm trying to shoot a jump shot, it kind of affects it. You know what I'm saying? But you play through it when you're that type of player. That's insane, man. Hole in the face? Okay, this is a good first look into a story that I haven't heard anything about, but honestly put me on a different level, because that's twice I heard about him fracturing his cheek and coming back in the game. Bro, he's the toughest. Kobe was pretty tough too, though. I like how he mentioned that at the beginning of the video. Let's jump back into it.
With 16 points, meaning he scored half of them with a fractured arch in crunch time, and even though we can't see it on the grainy 80s footage, Bird's jaw was depressed inward the same way Westbrook's was. After Larry left his heart on the floor for his team, he was sent to the hospital where doctors had to drill a hole into the side of his face and insert a medical tool to pop his zygotic arch back out.
What?
If social media had been around with clear footage back in these days, this performance would probably be a lot more famous. We were shocked to see Westbrook standing on his own with a hole in his face. Imagine watching Larry Bird play an entire extra quarter while leading his team to the win. Number 3, just give me a beer. It's understandable that Larry dealt with injuries like back problems and broken bones in the face. Those things just tend to happen when you're crashing into the floor and whatnot. But when Larry Bird had a toe infection, it really seemed like somebody was just testing how much he could take before he finally sat out a game. In the year 1985, Bird reportedly had a serious pain going on in his toe for 3 weeks that he played on, and he wouldn't bother to get it checked out because, again, he didn't like to let anybody know he was hurt. Finally, he let the doctor look at his foot, to which it would be found that Bird had a toe infection that would require his toe to be cut so the infection could drain. The doctor insisted that Bird take a shot of Novocaine to ease the pain because the infection was actually between his toes, which was obviously going to hurt a lot.
Wait, time out. Wait, he played with a toe infection in between his toes for 3 weeks before any of that happened. You gotta get to that one. We not gonna miss out on that point. He played for 3 weeks. He went to the doctor after 3 weeks because of the pain. It wasn't tolerable at that point, bro. What, dude? This dude was man. If he wasn't a basketball player, he could have been a gladiator. You know what I'm saying? He could have been a rugby player or something with the toughness he got. That's some of the toughest sport I've ever watched. So yeah, man, that's insane, man. His toughness is on a different level. His pain tolerance, all that, and that's just these injuries. That's not even including all the minor injuries, all the stuff he played through every game. You know what I'm saying? And then like the insane injuries that he had on top of that. But coming back from what? No, man, he's a machine. The dude said it right. He's not from this planet. Let's jump back into it.
And then Bird responded, "Just give me one of those beers over there." So he used that as his pain medication. The doctor cut 2.5 inches into his toe to let the infection drain. Larry wrapped up the foot and played the exact same night. Unfortunately, I can't find any kind of information on when this game was, who it was against, or anything like that. I can't even see how he performed. But when he got done with the game, the wrap was obviously soaked in blood, and he was in considerable pain during the game. If it's anything like the other ridiculous games Bird had after some kind of injury that should have had him sitting for days, it's safe to say he performed well. But the fact that he played with a 2.5 inch cut into his toe with no pain meds is impressive enough for me. Number 2, double vision. A lot of people can't even shoot when there's just one basket sitting still, so imagine trying to play in a professional game when you fractured your eye orbiter and you're seeing 2 baskets. Now the injury itself sounds pretty comparable to what Derrick Rose had not too long ago, the difference here being that Rose got hurt before the season and was able to get his problems to a manageable point before playing in a real game. Bird, however, would not be so lucky. In a 1988 game against the Cavaliers, Bird was on fire, having scored 13 points in the first quarter, but when he spun away from Craig Elo with a clear lane to the basket, Del Curry of all people would rotate and hit Bird with a violent elbow to the side of his face. Kind of ironic that before Del was raising the greatest shooter of all time, he was apparently trying to take out the best one of his generation.
Bruh, they be trying to
Anyways,
take people out
Bird sustained a fractured
back in the
eye
day.
orbiter that again kept him on the floor for minutes.
That is insane.
He went on to the locker room for treatment, came back out like he had done 6 years earlier, only this time he would score 18 more points to put the finishing touches on a 31-point game that included 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals on 11 of 20 shooting. But the stats weren't even the most impressive part. According to Larry, he played the rest of this game with double vision, and as he described it, he saw 2 baskets for the rest of the game, leaving him to guess which one he had to shoot at. But that's not
double vision. No, I believe him. I freaking believe it. And he's so nice, he came back and gave him buckets, man. No, man, that's insane. Double vision, man. You could have took me out the game. I'm sorry, Larry. You insane. You hands down. You insane. But one other thing, I seen a comment that had me very, very interested. It was one of my older Larry fans that been rocking with the page. I'm thinking for a while. I saw you comment. I just wanted to bring this up. He said he's an actual Celtics fan, diehard Celtics fan. Always been a Celtics fan. I think this is gonna cause some controversy. But what do y'all think about this? He was like, he's always been a Celtics fan. He's the biggest Larry fan ever, and he says he feels that the shot that he called, that trainer's lap shot, he feels like he turned and landed in the trainer's lap instead of like shooting it and accidentally falling. Like that's what you were saying. He kind of set that up, you know. Maybe, but I don't. In my opinion, does that take from the greatness though? Well, I want to know what y'all think about that in the comments, whether or not that was. But even though he hit the shot and he just fell in the trainer's lap, that makes it amazing. The greatness of the shot for one, and just to fulfill his little calling. You know what I'm saying? A trainer's lap. You know, it's. I don't think that takes too much away from the greatness, whether or not it was on purpose or whether it was an accidental. Basketball gods kissed him real quick and it happened exactly how he called it. I don't know, but definitely thought that was an interesting fact. I thought that was a very interesting comment, and he was like, I'm a diehard Bird fan. So for him to say that, I'm like, dude, I just want to say next time that does come up in a video, because sometimes it does, that comes up very frequently in my Larry Bird videos. Next time that comes up, I'm gonna make sure I look closely. Not to say I really know or not, but I'll look closely and watch just to see. You know what I'm saying? Just, did he like make sure the shot went in and didn't fall? Or like, was it purposely? I like that comment, bro. I'll be trying to engage with y'all in the comments, but let me jump back into it.
The best part either. Not only did he light Cleveland up, but we know double vision doesn't go away after one game. As we've already established, if there was any other option than to sit a game out, that's what Bird was going to do. He ended up playing 4 more games with goggles that I'm not even sure anybody really knew he wore, and in those games, he scored 36, 30, 28, and 34 points. In typical Larry Bird fashion, he shot a staggering 55% from the field with that. Violent elbow, fractured eye orbiter, goggles, elite scoring, hitting on over half of his field goal attempts. Again, he's Larry Bird, and Larry Bird is from another planet. Just to add some more to the story, apparently after the Cleveland game where he initially broke the orbiter, he noticed his nose bleeding after the game. He went to blow it and his eye bulged out a bit. Just a typical day in the life of Larry Bird, I guess. Number 1, Celtic pride.
Come on, y'all.
You hear all this talk about Celtic pride anytime we speak about the history, and Larry Bird contributed in big part to that as his career was wrapping up. Possibly the most famous scene from the ending of his career is the one we've all seen. Larry was diving for his ball, goes crashing to the floor as his head bangs against it violently, and he just lays there as if his body couldn't take it anymore. Truth be told, it really couldn't. Bird was dealing with insane back issues by this point in his career, and it was through sheer determination that he was even playing by this point. However, the story behind this scene is that not only was Bird's back locking up on him, but the shot he took to the head actually knocked him unconscious for a second and left him with a concussion that threatened to keep him out of the rest of an elimination game 5 against the Pacers. By this point, Larry was 34 years old and had missed 22 games throughout the season, and his best days had been stripped from him by an ever deteriorating back. He sat in the locker room debating whether to go back into the game as Boston had lost their edge without him, and most of the way through the third quarter, the advantage was with the Pacers. When Larry asked the doctor for advice, he said he should be done for the day, but by this point, we all know Larry just wasn't built like that. He was still breathing, so he went back into the game with the Celtics down by 3, while they were being cracked over the head by Chuck Persons, I might add. With Bird back in the game, Boston would go on a ridiculous 33-14 run and went on to win the game by 3 points, sending the Pacers home for the playoffs. Bird finished with 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists while shooting 63% from the field. But again, that's not the most shocking part of this story. According to teammates like Robert Parrish, when Bird hit the floor, they weren't sure he was ever going to play again. Remember that this happened at the end of Bird's career, and after back surgeries and having to lay in a fiberglass brace for hours just to be well enough to play,
whoa, pause for the cause. Wait. Okay, a couple videos back, I was talking about how I found out the hitting the floor part that he's talking about right now, this injury, he also fractured his cheek and had a concussion. Y'all told me that in the comments. I was totally neglecting the fact that he had the back surgeries and had been having the back problems at the same time. No goddamn way, man. What? Dude, yes, no, yes. He is the toughest. And I'm not gonna lie, Kobe was tough. He's a firm number 2 for the toughest. And I haven't heard all the stories about all the tough players, so I'm not gonna. But Bird, oh no, man, oh no. Putting all that together in my head, I'm just putting it together like, man, there ain't no way he's superhuman, bro. Like, the pain tolerance is crazy, and he's still kicking nowadays, man. He's a tough son of a gun, man. Let's jump back into it.
Thought that the fall he took meant the end of his career. And it probably would have been if Larry Bird was from Earth, but instead he went out and put up one of the most memorable playoff performances of all time, the kind of performance that really makes you sad that his career was really cut short by injury. So there you have it. These were 4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird was likely the toughest player of all time. The crazy part about it, after reading the book he wrote with Magic Johnson and researching a little bit, I could have easily told 10 or more. The truth that people don't really talk about in terms of Larry is that despite his amazing career, it was truly only a shell of what he could have been. As early as 1985, only 6 years into Larry Bird's career, he was already experiencing back issues that resulted from him doing concrete work around his house that he could have paid someone else to do. But that's just who Larry was, an incredibly hard worker that prided himself on being the same type of soldier his father was. Larry cherishes the story about his father when he came home one day from work and had a busted ankle. The next day, the ankle was so bad that Larry had to help him put the shoe on, and his father went right back to work. It was the kind of example that led Larry to play through the ridiculous pain he began to experience really only a short way into his career. Bird played a total of 13 of the most memorable seasons any NBA player could produce, but imagine one of our modern stars only lasting 13 years. LeBron is already on his 14th campaign, Durant is already on his 10th, but what if those guys only played to 13 though? That's just for perspective of what a flash Bird's career really was. And we're lucky that for that short amount of time, he had the high pain tolerance that he did, because if he was actually human and sat out those games that anybody else would have sat out, we would have likely seen even less of him. So in conclusion, I think Bird is proof that there is life outside of Earth, and we really aren't alone. Somewhere out there is the planet Larry Bird came from, where there's extraterrestrial life that apparently doesn't feel any type of pain. Shatter their face, knock them out, just give them a few minutes and they're right back on their feet ready to play. And if they're generous enough, maybe they're going to send another one like Larry to Earth to play in the NBA in the future. But if that doesn't happen, I'm very happy that Larry Bird was a part of NBA history.
Yeah,
so I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you learned something. Leave your favorite Larry Bird story in the comment section because I'm pretty sure you guys have some. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on my video. I'm Dom2K and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Alright. That's the end of the video, guys. And I'm not gonna lie, man, every Larry video, man, I get a little more inspired. This was definitely a good one. I very much appreciate that, David. The craziest part is, like, dude, I already thought he was the toughest, but now I know for sure he's definitely the toughest to ever play in the NBA game, you know what I'm saying? And the only problem is, I don't even know how I want to put this. The fact that he was such a self-sufficient hard worker is the only reason why we didn't have more years out of him. That's how I want to put that. Because that concrete work in his front yard and all the hard work he did coming up on the hands-on work limited how long, the longevity he could use his body at that level. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these athletes never lifted a shovel. You know what I'm saying? They never did that type of grit work, and all they've been doing is honing their body to be in the position that they are for a long time. And back in the day, that wasn't the luxury and the upbringing of half of these NBA stars. You know what I'm saying? It was like at some of the beginning of these videos, they was talking about how like they felt like there was drugs in the league, but gangbangers, crazy stuff going on. So at this time, it was a different level, and these people came from different backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, man, that one story where his face hit the floor, fractured his cheek, concussion, came back in the game, back problems, man, he can't even sit down on the bench at this point. You know what I'm saying? The back problems are so bad he's laying down when he gets out the game. Man, dude, and to continue to play, that's a love and competitiveness that I don't think no one else has. Toughness, he's definitely number one. But with that being said, I appreciate you, David, for this video. Once again, I appreciate everybody else for watching. If you do have a request, you could send it to my IG if you want. DM me. When I see it, I'll definitely check it out. Lil Jits Big Dreams, same thing as my name. That's my IG. But appreciate you. If you're new to the content, make sure you like and subscribe and hit the post notification bell. It's all free, and you're just helping me to grow by liking the video. More people gonna see the content. That's just the way the YouTube algorithm works. So you be helping me out big time. I'm a big Larry Bird advocate. We gonna be dropping a lot of Larry Bird videos in the up and coming time, man. I haven't been doing as many videos as I would like, so I'm gonna try to get a lot in, so y'all know what that means. I appreciate you. If you're not new to the Fan Bird Gang, I hope you know what time it is. I got a lot of stuff coming for you guys. Other than that, I appreciate every single one of y'all. I hope you have a great day, and I'm out today.